From the time we are kids, we are handed a very specific script for our lives. We are told to study hard, get good grades, and eventually secure a stable job. For a long time, following these steps feels like the smartest, safest thing you can do. A steady paycheck rolling in every 2 weeks creates a deep sense of order and predictability. But there is a strange friction built into this system. Millions of people execute this exact formula flawlessly. They put their heads down and work hard for decades, yet they remain completely stuck, living paycheck to paycheck. We are heavily conditioned to focus entirely on how fast we can move along this path, but we almost never stop to ask if the path actually leads to financial freedom. At the core of a standard 9-to-5 job is a very simple economic transaction. You are directly trading your time for money. This chart shows exactly why that transaction becomes a problem. The horizontal axis is your time, and the vertical axis is your income. Because there are only 24 hours in a day, your time has a strict, unbreakable cap. As a result, your income inherently hits a hard ceiling. Even if you clock maximum overtime, grind through weekends, or secure a moderate yearly raise, that fixed boundary does not move. An economic model based entirely on trading limited hours can never mathematically scale to true wealth. There is simply not enough time to trade. The math isn't the only issue. Relying entirely on a single corporate paycheck introduces an extreme, often ignored risk to your survival. In engineering, a single point of failure is a specific part of a system that, if it fails, stops the entire system from working. In personal finance, if 100% of your income comes from one employer and that job disappears, your ability to pay for housing and food vanishes instantly. We are told this arrangement is safe. Yet, depending entirely on one boss creates a constant, quiet anxiety. It is the exact pressure that forces people to stay paralyzed in roles they despise. What society packages and sells as ultimate job security is actually a state of total, fragile vulnerability. To keep people motivated within this fragile structure, the system offers the corporate promotion. It is held up as the ultimate indicator of personal progress. Look at the actual mathematics of moving up. This bar chart compares what you gain versus what you give up. You might receive a 5 or 10% increase in your salary bar, but it requires a massive vertical spike in the time, responsibility, and stress you are expected to absorb. That increased workload has a deliberate side effect. By the time you finish the long hours and the commute, you are completely depleted. The system actively squeezes out the exact energy you would need to build an alternative source of income. Simultaneously, the predictability of a fixed salary pacifies your desire to take risks. It creates just enough comfort that you convince yourself you'll start working on your real dreams later, a later that rarely arrives. This exposes the hidden curriculum of standard employment. Jobs train you how to perform specific tasks and follow instructions. They omit the education to invest, leverage complex systems, or build assets of your own. The 9-to-5 structure rewards stagnation. It locks you into a cycle where you trade away your creative energy simply to maintain a predictable baseline. This does not mean that having a job is a failure, or that the concept of employment is entirely useless. The error millions make is treating a job as the permanent end of their journey. The real danger is viewing a paycheck as a final destination instead of a temporary resource. Financially free individuals look at the exact same 9-to-5 job through a utilitarian lens. They view it as a launchpad rather than a permanent cage. A job is merely a tool. The true danger lies in letting that tool dictate the permanent boundaries of your life. This brings us to the stepping stone strategy. Instead of rejecting the steady paycheck, you use it specifically as a private incubator. In this system, your primary job sits at the center, but instead of consuming all your resources, it pulses money and stability outward into distinct parallel nodes. You use primary income to fund learning, buy investments, and slowly build side businesses, all without facing existential financial risk. Over time, these parallel systems begin to compound. Your dependency on that single initial paycheck shrinks as your new assets generate their own independent momentum. A 9-to-5 is designed to keep things stable and predictable. The choice is yours. You can settle comfortably into that whole